All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Online Art to Science. Today we have some former camp staff with us. So Darren has been a junior counselor for longer than I can remember. He's probably about old enough to start being paid at the camp. And he's joined by his sister Britt. They are going to lead you guys through a really cool activity. Anybody who knows me knows that I tend to shy away from biology a lot, but these guys didn't. So they're going to be showing you how to extract DNA, your own DNA, at home with normal supplies. So I'm going to make them host and go ahead and turn it over to you guys.
Okay, so today you'll need chilled alcohol higher than 70%, and then paper cups, plastic bags, salt, soap, and distilled or bottled water, and then just like materials, plastic bags. I think I already said that. But what is DNA, Darren?
Okay, so DNA is also known as deoxyribonucleic acid. It basically looks like a ladder that has kind of been twisted around a vertical axis in what is called a double helix pattern. DNA is found inside of all living creatures, plants, animals, people, and even inside some non-living creatures such as viruses. And what it is a set of instructions for how living beings form, kind of like a computer program. Inside of every living being are these chemicals called amino acids. And what DNA does is it tells amino acids what kind of proteins to form in various different patterns, which will eventually form living cells, which form your organs, your skin, and pretty much every part of your being.
And DNA is stored in the nucleus of cells as chromosomes, and you get your chromosomes half from each parent. And so we will be extracting that in this experiment. So start off with 1.5 tablespoons of water in a paper cup. And make sure not to spill it. Distilled or bottled water. Kind of heavy. And next, add a little bit of salt to that water, about, I just spilled some, 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon. And then you'll wait until the salt is dissolved in the water, and then this will be a saline solution that you have to swish in your mouth, which is kind of gross, but it's very salty, but it extracts the DNA so that you can actually do the experiment. So once the salt is dissolved, you'll have to swish it in your mouth for 30 seconds. And you can also scrape the sides of your mouth to help get more of the skin cells and cheek cells off into the mixture. After about 30 seconds, you can spit it back out into your cup. Next, we'll take sandwich bags, plastic sandwich bags, and pour some of this mixture into the bag. About that much, like about 1 inch, 1/2 inch up from the corner. Then we're going to take the liquid soap that we have. Ours, I think, is dish soap, and pour it into the bag. Depending on how much, if you only have a little bit of the solution in there, you can use about 2 drops, but use more depending on how much of the bag you fill up. And then incorporate it into your saline and saliva mixture. And try not to create bubbles in the process, which will be difficult a little, but it'll help with the end result. And now once you've done that, you can take the chilled alcohol. And this part it's a little bit difficult because you have to be gentle with it. But basically the goal is to drop the alcohol to form a layer on top of your mixture that you have in the bag here. And yeah, let's do that. And do it about 20 drops of the alcohol mixture, or just enough to see a separated layer on top. And it's easiest to do this by like sliding it down the side of the bag. I think I'm good.
Thank you.
And now it's actually easiest to leave it like this for a couple minutes. But basically, the shampoo, or not the shampoo, the soap we added helps dissolve the fatty cell membrane so that some of the cell material, or so that the DNA can be released. And then the salt makes the DNA molecules stick together so that because DNA is very small, so by having them stick together, it makes it actually visible. And then the alcohol causes the DNA to rise to the top of the solution. So in a little bit, you can see material rising up through the top layer here. This is kind of gross to see, but you can see material starting to float up through the alcohol layer. And that's actually the DNA being pulled up by the alcohol. And we'll have to wait a couple minutes to start to see it. But why is DNA important, Darren?
Well, as mentioned earlier, DNA is a set of instructions for all living beings. Understanding DNA gives us a bit more insight into ourselves, into the various living creatures and plants, and pretty much all life on this planet. And just understanding it a little bit is just generally very helpful for people to understand where we come from and what formed us. It's good to understand where or how you got your hair color, your eye color, how your arms were formed, your legs were formed, how pretty much your body was formed.
What is yours?
It looks like a cloudy mess.
Yeah, show yours. Yours is more clear. So at the top, you can see this white film forming, and that's basically the DNA molecules that have bunched together and risen to the top. Here, put it a little closer. It's kind of gross because you're looking at his spit technically with a bunch of other stuff. Sometimes the results are more clear or less clear. In mine, it depends on like if you've brushed your teeth, if you've had water recently, which I had, and so then you can only see a little bit of mine in the top layer. But you can also use this experiment on different fruits and vegetables, basically anything that has DNA, and you'll have different results. So for strawberries, they actually have a surprising amount of DNA, and so then you can have more clear results with that. And yeah, basically anything that has DNA you can test.
Let's see. There's actually a lot of current research and things going on in the world of genetics. For example, people are having their DNA tested to determine their heritage and their ancestors, what parts of the world they came from. Sorry. Some of these people are even using DNA testing to get estimates of the likelihood of contracting certain diseases. Some people are more likely to contract certain diseases than others based on what part of the world they came from. And some people are likely to inherit a genetic disease. This kind of screening can help people understand that likelihood and help prevent it early on. In the world of genetic modification, which that's a buzzword right there, plants are being kind of genetically changed to produce more of what they are usually harvested for. Those products can be modified to be bigger. The plants can have a shorter growing period, and some plants are even being changed to emit certain kind of chemicals to prevent insects and other pests from wanting to eat them, which could help increase the amount of produce gained. In South America, there's even some researchers doing some genetic modification on mosquitoes so that they live shorter lifespans. Mosquitoes are known as carriers of a lot of diseases like malaria, yellow fever, or West Nile. So by decreasing the lifespan of these mosquitoes, you're decreasing the window they have to spread these diseases to all these animals and people, and potentially helping to bring the lifespan up for a lot of creatures.
Yeah. Do you want to show your
Let's see.
yours again?
A little bit more progress.
And that's how you extract DNA at home.
Yeah.
So that you can see it.
So you mentioned strawberries. What else can you extract the DNA from? I'm curious.
Probably, or basically anything that has DNA. I mean, other fruits, vegetables, plants. You just have to basically get the plant material into liquid form, or the cells, and then you can mix it with the salt, the soap, and have the alcohol layer on top, and you can see the DNA rise to the top.
Yeah.
Cool. So what are you going to do with your DNA now?
You can actually freeze it to save it, but I think ours will be.
Yeah, I think we've got plenty of DNA to go around for right now.
Can you frame it and put it on your refrigerator?
Sure.
I guess.
If you do it, I think the higher the alcohol, the more clear the results will be. I'm pretty sure, or like the more it'll precipitate to the top, and you can actually like use a wooden skewer to look at it and move it around, which is
Kind of like spaghetti, you can twirl it up.
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to share with us?
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I think that's all for today.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. I want to remind the viewers, especially if you're watching this after it's been aired, that we do have a survey. We're trying to figure out if we're how to improve this program. We also have 2 more activities coming up within the next week. So on Saturday morning, I'm finally going to lead an activity on exploding paint. All you need to participate is some kind of 35 millimeter film canister, which you might still have some of those laying around, paint powder, and Alka-Seltzer, and then something to paint on. Probably not your carpet. So it's going to be an outdoor activity, with July 4th in mind. And then next Monday, we're going to have somebody showing you not only how to make paper, because I think a lot of us made paper as a kid at some point, but how to make paper with seeds in it so that you can send somebody a greeting card. They can read the card and then stick it in the ground and grow things from it. So hopefully you guys join us for that.